Hi everyone, it's Jess from But First Crochet, and today I'm going to be talking about my gorgeous granny stitch blanket that I'm lovingly calling my granny gratitude blanket. So you may have heard of a temperature blanket, or other people are doing mood blankets or book blankets. This is my take on that kind of long-term project that you can put down and pick up throughout the year. So the idea is just a long, easy project that you can sit on your couch and do, and just be mindful and in the present moment with all of your stitches. So I like to think about things that I'm grateful for and things that just are on my mind, and just help keep yourself centered and in the present moment. This is kind of like a meditative, therapeutic type project, if you will, or if you just love it and want to make it, great. So the materials I used for this blanket, you don't have to use these materials, and you can really adjust this blanket to be larger, smaller, whatever floats your boat. So I love this yarn, which can be purchased at Hobby Lobby. This is an acrylic 4-weight yarn, and these are the colors that I used. I made this project throughout the year, and it became such a hit on my Instagram. I wish I would have kept better track of my supplies. But the good news is you're changing colors so much. If you have to go back and get more yarn, it's okay. It's not going to matter if the dye lot is different. But I'm guesstimating I used about 4 skeins of the linen color, and then about 2 skeins of all the other colors. So this one's called linen. This one's called blue spruce. This one is called cherry blossom. This one is called cherry blossom. This one is called spa. And this one is called light taupe. So I am going to have a post about this, and I'm going to come up with some yarn alternative colors, because I know not everyone has access to Hobby Lobby's yarn, and I will come up with some alternatives. I am going to go through the gauge swatch of the pattern with you guys here, so you can see how to change the colors and how to make the border, which I've gotten a lot of compliments on. It's super cute. So let's get started. If you've got your yarn, your 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, some scissors, and a yarn needle. And to start the project, you're going to need your linen color, or the color you wish to use every other color. So you're pretty much going to need double the amount of yarn for whatever color you want this to be in your blanket. So we're going to make our gauge swatch. I have links below in the description to the full written pattern, both on my website and in my Etsy shop. So it's good to reference those throughout so that you can follow along easily. Your finished swatch should measure about 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. We're going to start by chaining 16. If you need more of a breakdown on how to do the granny stitch, I will link to that below. And it's a slower, more comprehensive version of how to do the stitch. So go ahead and chain 16. And this is for the gauge swatch. If you're making the blanket and you want it to be about the same size as mine, which is, how big was my blanket? About 53 by 57 inches. So it's a good sized Afghan. You can adjust it larger or smaller by making your starting foundation chain in multiples of 3 plus 1. So if you want to go ahead and start your blanket and you want it to be the same size as mine, you're going to chain 144 plus 1. So that equals 145 chains. I'm doing the gauge swatch for this demonstration, so I'm only chaining 16, which is my multiple of 3 plus 1. So 15 plus 1 equals 16. I'm going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. I'm going to skip 2 and make a cluster of 3 double crochets in the next chain. And I'm going to skip 2 and make a cluster of 3 double crochets in the next chain. And you're going to repeat that all the way across until 3 chains remain. So I have 3 chains left. I'm going to skip these 2 and I'm going to make 2 double crochets in the last chain. Now here is where we can get into a debate on how to change colors. You can change colors however you like. See how let's back up a second. So before we were talking about color changes, let's talk about the fact that mine is bending like a rainbow. My tension was too tight, making my starting foundation chain. If this happens to you, you can go back and loosen up your gauge, or you might want to make your foundation chain with a larger hook. So size up to like a J or a K to make your starting chain before you go through and do your clusters. So we're gonna switch colors to the cherry blossom, and you can use your preferred method for changing colors. And if you don't know this about me, or you have been following me for a minute, I don't like weaving in ends, and this blanket would be an absolute nightmare to weave ends in at the end. So I'm gonna do it as I go, and I'm gonna change my colors by making a magic knot. You can always change colors and weave in your ends later, but I'm going to snip off my linen and I'm going to attach my cherry blossom with a magic knot. You're going to want to get as close to the edge here as you can. So line these up, put your new color underneath, make like an X, and you're going to loop this over. And then this tail is going to come underneath everything here and through this loop, and pull that tight. And make sure you slide that knot up as close as you can to the top of your work here. And now we're going to repeat the same thing on the bottom here. This time grab your tail, your non-working yarn, loop that under the bottom, over the top, hold everything together and bring that tail underneath those 2 pieces and through this loop, and pull that tight. And you want to get that tightened up as close to that other knot as you can. This might take a little bit of practice. Then you want to pull these knots together. I promise it's worth the effort to not have to weave in your ends at the end. Now you're going to snip your ends off as close to the knot as possible without accidentally cutting the knot. Ta-da! That is nice and secure. So now we are going to start round 2 by chaining 3. Just 1, 2, 3. Don't worry about this knot. It will be completely covered up when you make the border. So turn your work like flipping a page in a book. For row 2, we're going to start by making a cluster of 3 double crochets in this space from below. So let's do our first cluster. There's 1, 2, and 3. Skip the next cluster and make your next cluster of 3 double crochets in that next gap. You're going to do that all the way across, making 3 double crochets in each of these spaces from the row below until we get to the end. So you'll make your last one here, and I'll show you how to finish the row to complete the second row. So there's 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. Again. And once more, if you need a slower breakdown of how to do the granny stitch, please check the link below for a more comprehensive breakdown on how to do this stitch. We're at the end of the row, and we're going to finish off this row by placing 1 double crochet in between these last 2 stitches from the row below. So go right in between here and make 1 single double crochet, 1 double crochet. So that'll complete row number 2. And just for fun, we'll just show you how to change yarn a different way. So after your cherry blossom, we're going to switch back to our linen color. So if you want to change colors this way, by not doing the magic knot, undo this last loop of your stitch. Insert your hook back in there through those 2. And we're going to finish the stitch with the linen color. So leave a little bit of a tail. And just pull this through. So you'll have the ends here. You will need to snip off the cherry blossom there. Kind of tighten everything up and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Turn your work. And this time we're going to make our first stitch right below our chain 3. So this counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to have a cluster of 2 double crochets on each end. So here's our first and our second. The row below has just 1, and then the previous row has 2. So it's going to alternate 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and that will repeat throughout the entire project. And then you'll continue with your 3 double crochet clusters in each of the spaces. And at the last, after you complete your 3 double crochet cluster, skip the last cluster, and in between the last cluster and your chain 3 from the previous row, place 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. Change colors however you like. So after the linen, we're going to go for the spa color. And you can make these in whatever order you want, but if you want your blanket to be like mine, this was the next color I chose. I'm going to do a quick magic knot here. Now that we've gotten started, we're really into a 2-row pattern repeat for the rest of the blanket. So chain 3, and you're going to repeat row 2, which is to skip this first group of 2 double crochets and place a cluster of 3 double crochets in each of the spaces from the row below. All right, we're at the end of this row, and because we started our row with just 1 double crochet, we're going to end our row with just 1 double crochet. So place 1 double crochet in between the last 2 stitches from the previous row. So right in here, and that will complete that row. And you're going to switch back to your linen color, chain 3, turn your work, and because we started with 1 here, we're going to have 2 in this row. So here's our first double crochet. Our second double crochet will go directly below in this space where we made our chain 3. And then our 3 double crochets in all the spaces below. I'm at the end of the row, and we're going to end this row with a 2 double crochet cluster. There's 1 and 2. Changing colors again, and after your spa color, you're going to go with your light taupe. So I'm going to attach that color now. Chain 3. And this is just repeating, and I'm really just doing this to show you the whole color palette. So skip your 2 double crochets, make your 3 double crochet cluster in all the spaces. Ending this row with 1 double crochet in between the last 2 stitches from the previous row. Change back to my linen color. Chain 3. Turn your work over. Start with your 2 double crochet cluster, and then your 3 double crochets in all of the spaces below. We're just repeating rows 2 and 3, and really all of your linen rows are going to start with the 2 double crochet cluster, and all of your alternating colors are going to start with the 1 double crochet to bookend your ends. Good. And after light taupe is going to be blue spruce. Chain 3. Turn your work. Make your 3 double crochet clusters in each of the spaces below. End the row with a single double crochet between the last 2 stitches from the previous row. Then we are switching back to linen, and this will end the first round of our color sequence. You can always select more colors, less colors, or don't change colors. This blanket is for you, hopefully, if you're doing the gratitude blanket. Don't be in a hurry. Just be mindful of what you're doing and enjoy the process. Chain 3. Turn your work. There's your first double crochet. Make your second for your 2 double crochet cluster at the end. Then your 3 double crochet clusters down the row here in each of the spaces from the row below. So there is your color palette. Now let me see if I'm meeting my gauge like I did for my first swatch. It's okay if you don't exactly meet it, but yep, there's 4.5 by 4.5. So that is, your gauge should be 4.5 by 4.5 after completing those first 9 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 9 rows. And I will come back to show you how to do the border, but that is how you do the gratitude blanket, alternating the colors, and this is our color palette. So next we'll move on to making that half double crochet border. Let's begin with round 1 of our border. So you don't need to fasten off at the end of your last row. Simply chain 1, and we're going to single crochet evenly around your entire swatch or blanket. And you want to put about 2 single crochets for each row. So about 2 crochets for each row, so everything looks nice and even. Not really counting, I'm just making sure I'm making my stitches pretty evenly along the bottom here or on the side. Now, when you get to the corner, excuse me, let's make 3 single crochets in the corner. So there's 1, 2, get that tail out of the way, and 3. Again, even single crochet all the way down. Till you get to the next corner, and again, 3 single crochets in the corner. And single crochet evenly up this side, about 2 stitches per row. At the third corner here, 3 more single crochets, then just single crochet in the stitches for the last side. The stitches are already there. I'm at the beginning because I can see my chain 1 here, so we'll call this we need to make 2 2 single crochets here so that we have our completed 3 in this corner. So let me just put 2 more stitches in this corner space. And then I'm going to join to that first single crochet of the round with a slip stitch. So that will complete round 1 of the border. All right, to begin round 2, we're going to start by chaining 2. And then we're going to half double crochet in this same space. And we're going to half double crochet in each one of these stitches all the way down the side. Crochet all the way down till you get to the corner where you've got your 3 single crochets from the previous round. Half double crochet into that first one, and then that middle stitch is going to be your true corner. So we're going to, in the corner, in that third stitch from that cluster of 3, we're going to half double crochet and then chain 2, then half double crochet back into the same space. So in that corner space, half double, chain 2, half double, then half double crochet all the way down the next side. Okay, I'm at my next corner. So we're going to do our half double crochet, chain 2, then half double crochet back into that same space to make our corner. Turn and half double crochet all the way down the next side. All right, I'm in the next corner. So in that corner stitch, half double crochet, chain 2, and half double crochet. All right, now we're half double crocheting down the last side. All right, we're here in the last stitch where we're going to half double crochet back into the same stitch as our chain 2. We're going to chain 2 and join to the top of the first half double crochet with a slip stitch. That. So that completes round 2 of the border. Ready for round number 3. Start with a chain of 2 and then a half double crochet in the corner. And now we're going to half double crochet in the third loop. So if you turn your work towards you, these loops in the back are the third loops. So this is your first loop, your front loop, your back loop, then back here is the third loop. You can see them all the way down. We're going to be crocheting into these for this round. So make sure you are using that third loop, and that's what gives it that pop of texture. So half double crochet in the third loop all the way down to the next corner. All right, I'm to my next corner, and in all the corner spaces, we're going to do a half double crochet, chain 2, and a half double crochet back into the corner. So it should be looking like this so far. We're going to head down this side. So again, making sure your stitch is going in the third loop, not up here, but you have to tip your work forward so you can see it in the back. All right, I'm at the next corner, and again, half double crochet, chain 2, and half double crochet back into the corner. Half double crochet into that third loop all the way down here to the next corner. I'm at the next corner, half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet all in that corner space, and then half double crochet in the third loop all the way down, and we'll be back at the beginning. I'll show you how to finish that off. All right, I'm in the last corner. We're going to half double crochet in the first corner space, chain 2, and then join with a slip stitch to the first half double crochet. So half double crochet, chain 2, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first stitch there. And that is the end of round 3. And you just keep repeating that round we just did until your border is as thick as you want it. I made one more round, and that is how I completed the Gratitude Granny stitch blanket. Let me double check. Let's see. So let me find a corner, and it looks like I did 1, 2, 3 rounds, like one more of that, yeah. So 2 rounds in the third loop. The first round was just in regular half double crochet, and then the very first round was just a round of single crochets. I just think it makes it look more uniform. So I'm going to do one more round. This is called a camel stitch border. Half double crochet in the third loop and all the way down. And then you're going to do your half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet in each corner except for the very last, and you'll end that one the way you did the row before by simply doing a half double crochet in the corner, chain 2, and then join with a slip stitch to that first half double crochet of the round. So I'm going to finish this and I will meet you at the end of this round. All right, I've made it around to the very last corner here. I'm gonna half double crochet in the corner, chain 2, and then join to that first stitch. I'm gonna chain 1 to fasten off my work. All right, so this is kind of my mini Gratitude Granny blanket to show you as an example. And maybe it can go in Barbie's dream house or over her couch. Don't use it as a pot holder. There's too many holes, but it's kind of fun just to have a cute little mini sample before you dive into the big boy. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, like it, leave me a comment and subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this. I really am grateful and appreciate every single one of you for helping to grow my channel. And I hope you enjoy your Gratitude Granny blanket. And please, if you do this, I would love, love, love to see it. So tag me on Instagram. You can email me at butfirstcrochet@gmail.com. But I definitely want to see your progress throughout the year on your Granny Gratitude blanket. All right. Thanks a lot, friends. I will see you in the next video.